World Cup hero to stay on with Manchester United target after having a change of heart. With the January transfer window in full swing, we're certain that there are still a few twists and turns left. A lot of teams have been making moves left, right, and center, while some are still contemplating whether to dip in their transfer funds or not. So today, we're going to talk about a couple of players who've been linked with moves this winter. However, stay on this video to find out why these two lads are staying put. Obviously, it isn't always the best approach to sign players halfway through the season. Normally, a manager would like to welcome new players at the start of his summer transfer window. This allows both the player and his new manager to have a full preseason under their belt. The player would understand the requirements better, and the manager and coaching staff would be able to figure out what role suits the new signing better. This means that a new player has more time to integrate in a new side. The same luxury is not afforded to a player who signed halfway through the season. Normally, you'd expect a football club to sign a player in January if it's absolutely necessary. You cannot afford luxury signings in the middle of the season and risk impacting team chemistry. Take, for example, Chelsea, who are having a shocker of a campaign and do need some inspiration. Judging by their performances, it ain't coming from within, which is why Todd Boehly is searching for a big-name signing like a madman. But hey, let's talk about two players who come with a promise of a transfer. Unfortunately, both players are unlikely to switch allegiances in January for a wide variety of reasons. So first, we're going to talk about a player who's been linked with Manchester United for several months. We'll be discussing the second player in a bit, because that player absolutely shined at the World Cup. Frenkie De Jong to Manchester United. The moment Erik ten Hag was named the next Manchester United manager, a host of players were linked with the move to Old Trafford. Naturally, Frenkie De Jong is one of those players. The Dutchman's a proper ten Hag player and rose to prominence when the two men were at Ajax, hell-bent on taming European giants. De Jong eventually moved to Barcelona, which was a dream move for him. However, we haven't seen the best of De Jong at Camp Nou on a regular basis, and it's not entirely the player's fault. He's never been given the sort of creative freedom that he enjoyed at Ajax. On top of that, his role was never defined by incoming managers. While Xavi has done well to make good use of a very talented midfielder, the Barca managers got a soft spot for Gavi and Pedri, who are seen as the future of the club. This means that out of every midfielder Barca have, Frenkie De Jong is the most dispensable one. The Spaniards would never let go of Gavi and Pedri, so when it comes to it, De Jong would be the most likely to leave. In the summer of 2022, Barca's financial issues forced them to consider letting go of the Dutchman. Manchester United were eager and willing to pay up. Both clubs have reportedly agreed to a move, but De Jong did not want to leave. The midfielder knew that his club wanted to sell him to raise funds, but decided to show some resilience. Ten Hag's advances were effectively rejected, and De Jong stayed put. United's midfield problems needed to be addressed, and have been to some extent, thanks to the addition of Casemiro. However, the Red Devils still need some creativity in the middle of the park, with Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen the only creative options around. De Jong wasn't convinced if his former manager would turn things around at a club that had been mediocre at best for the last 6 years. Fast forward a few months, and things have changed drastically. United are actually playing a pretty good brand of football, have gotten rid of Cristiano Ronaldo, and their new signings are pulling their weight. Things are looking up, and while a title charge should be considered out of the question, a couple of good signings and United might be fighting on multiple fronts next season. All this has made De Jong realize that perhaps he was too quick to judge, and now wants to be reunited with his former manager. The only problem is that Joan Laporta no longer wants to sell the player. The Barca president says that De Jong is not for sale. Well, things have changed a lot indeed. United are no longer that desperate for a midfielder like they were in the summer of 2022. They would love to add De Jong to their midfield, but it's not a pressing concern. At least not for the moment. United are in dire need of a recognized striker at the moment. With Ronaldo gone and Anthony Martial not showing any sort of consistency, the goal-scoring burden has fallen on Marcus Rashford, who has done an amazing job. However, United can't go on like this forever, which is why they're in the market for a striker. Of course they like to go for the best ones out there, such as Victor Osimhen, who has absolutely shined for Napoli. Unfortunately, the Italians are chasing Serie A success and would never do business. But that's the thing you know. United would love to grab hold of Frenkie De Jong, but at the moment, Ten Hag's more interested in signing a striker. He would rather expend all of his energy into bringing in Wout Weghorst rather than go for his fellow countryman at Barca. And it makes sense. Croatian star for a big money move. Okay, so here we are now. The player that had a fantastic World Cup in Qatar, but would always be remembered as a defender who was taken to the cleaners by Lionel Messi. But let's be honest, guys, getting cleaned up by Messi isn't something that should define you as a player. Some of the best in history were tamed by the Argentine legend. so Joško Gvardiol should take comfort in the fact that his performances at Qatar 2022 for Croatia were good enough to earn him a big money move in the future. The young center back is reassuring in possession, likes to pass the ball around, and has great anticipation. Currently on the books of RB Leipzig, Gvardiol is definitely set for a big money move in the coming months. The young center back was linked with a move to Chelsea in 2022, but an €80 million bid was outright rejected. That hasn't stopped the Blues from wanting to sign him though. Unfortunately, the Londoners might not be the most pleasing suitors this time around due to their current form and overall struggles. The youngster's a huge fan of Liverpool, a team he used to watch growing up. During an interview, the 20-year-old has admitted that moving to Merseyside would be a dream. Maybe the dream can become a reality soon? The Reds aren't having the best of campaigns this time around and have to address a lot of needs. Problem is that the club's owners have already put it up for sale, which is why we don't see Jurgen Klopp getting any reinforcements following the arrival of Cody Gakpo. Liverpool are in dire need of a midfielder, and that will be the priority. On defense, they appear to be well stocked, even though Virgil van Dijk is out with a hamstring injury. However, that might change during the summer transfer window of 2023, when they might have a new owner willing to make a few statement signings. You can also not rule out a move to Spain for the young center back, who's already admitted that he has no intention of leaving Leipzig halfway through the season. The Germans will not settle for anything less than €100 million for their star player, and we all know that Real Madrid has always seemed to have excess cash lying around somewhere. Los Blancos have already started investing in the future. Gvardiol has plenty of time on his hands, and Madrid are also in no hurry. They'll be signing young players in the coming transfer windows, and the young Croatian will definitely be a prime target. The presence of Luka Modric will play an immense role since the legendary midfielder might convince his countrymate to make a switch to Santiago Bernabeu. Things have a tendency to change quickly in football. For instance, Manchester City haven't yet been linked with the youngster and might throw their hat in the mix. All in all, Joško Gvardiol might not want to leave in January, but he knows that he'll have suitors lining up for his signature come the summer of 2023. So guys, that's it for today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and have a look at our content library. Till next time!